want to talk about this topic of how being an adult is so lonely and trying to figure out what you got to do and where you got to go in life is really, really a tough, hard road that a lot of people go through. Nobody really prepared me for the lonely nights and the overthinking and the gist of like what I'm gonna do and how I'm gonna do this. It's really, really, really troublesome, honestly, being lonely in your 20s and trying to figure it out by yourself. Loneliness and being lonely is two different things, right? If you go outside by yourself, you are technically alone, you're not lonely. Lonely means to me that you don't have support or nobody to help you, guide you along the way throughout your adulthood. And studies have shown, right, in Gen Z that we are the most loneliness generation of all the other generations. And that is because of technology, because of our phones and how they kind of isolate us and the different things that we do, right, would isolate us into different bubbles. But with technology, it really isolates us to the max, right? We have everything on this phone: music, pictures, entertainment, right? We don't need people because we have our phones and technology. Stated, right? We talked about FMO, right? Fear of missing out. That is something huge that is going around in my personal life in my 20s and being off of Instagram, right? We have the need to be on social media apps and all these things to feel included and not to feel lonely, right? Um, Nobody really prepared me for the just the hardships of being 20 and being severely, severely alone in this journey. Of course, you have your family and your friends and your so-called friends, right? As we discussed, finding friendships in this society is very hard. Genuine friendships, actually, right? Being lonely and being alone are two different things, right? I'm gonna call this being alone and being lonely are two different things because I feel like that's what the video is about. But, right, um, I honestly think we should be more alone, doing things alone by ourselves because, again, we are trying so hard to fit into friendships, relationships, but we don't successfully want to sit and swallow and be alone and be outside alone, right? There's always a need to be outside with a person, right? On the other hand, right, being in adulthood and going through these milestones and wanting someone to share those milestones with them and, you know, wanting to, oh my gosh, I just got a new job, I did this, I lost weight, right? We want people to be included into our life, like, oh my god, I'm so happy, I know it's been difficult. It's not about the accolades, it's about the feeling of warmth and connection with that person during your adult years. Moving on, I feel like this is really important as you're going on to your 20s, your 30s, that you include people who lift you up and make you prosper as a person, right? We don't want people who bring us down in society, and we don't want individuals who just drag us through the mud when something happens or call on you when something extravagant happens, but you guys don't talk at all, right? That is not a friendship. That's not something that is welcomed in your life. Now, from my take of being lonely in adulthood and why nobody really prepared me for it, life prepares you for it, right? Your parents can kind of guide you along the way, but are they going to be there 24/7? Your friends can be there with you, but are they going to be there with you 24/7? You have to be alone rather than feeling this loneliness inside of you, right? Alone and loneliness is two different things, guys. The paths that we take are two different paths in life, right? Again, as I said in my other video, right? You determine what you got to do to get there. You determine what you got to do to prosper in your life. You decide if you want to cut these people off. You decide if you want to feel this loneliness inside of you, right? It all stems from you and what you want to do and how you would move forward. I want to say, if you feel like you are lonely in your adult years and you're trying to have this ability to figure out what you got to do and what you want to do and how you're going to get there, um, it's okay. Everyone feels lonely, right? But don't let the loneliness take over you. You still have to get up and make sure that you got what you need to do. You know, you you need to make sure that you are on the right track. You can't worry about other people. And being lonely and trying to strive in your adult years, in your 20s, it's really difficult in this society